Alright, so welcome back to the shop again. We are here with the prototype once more, and we are going to work on some brakes. Big old brake day. We're gonna get this thing so it can stop before the end of this video. So let's just get rolling on this thing and see how it rolls. So, if you remember, we have on all four corners front brakes. It's from an Acura RL or something like that. And so I got some standard line with banjos and pretty much bolted it right up. Now, where we come into some interesting issues is when we start getting into how to mount this line to its non-moving counterpart. So you have to have a certain amount of flex in here. Hopefully this isn't too much for any of this thing to figure out, and we should be set. So it's got enough that when we're cranked over here, it doesn't cause a problem. When we crank it back over here, it's not interfering with anything either. So that looks pretty good. And then of course, from that point up to our master cylinder here, we just got the splitter. Pretty simple. Make sure we're not leaking anywhere. Pretty simple setup. Straight over there, straight over there. Little zigzags and such. So we can tweak and modify the routing as we need to. But that's a pretty simple setup in the front. Of course, we just bent a standard piece of steel here, welded it on, so we could fit the pass-through and our little clippy clips. Alright, so on that rear line, I got that bent up in the quasi spot to where it should go. Not too shabby. Little funky up there, but hey, that gives us a little more room if we ever need to move it somewhere. It's not a big deal. It's not really in the way, and it should be fine. That of course comes back to this guy. We got kind of a lightly sketchy bend right in there, but hey, whatever it takes gets you there. And then we got this guy going off there. When it gets to some funky stuff, we just have it running through a piece of rubber hose. That way it shouldn't wear through before we get some use out of it. And this one here swipes right up there where we've just mounted this relief guy right to the frame. Because back here, we don't have to worry about turning, which is a lot nicer than a lot of other things. And then on this side, we had to make sure we hug the cage, because we kind of don't want to have like belt issues take out our brakes. That would kind of suck, and that would definitely not be fun. So just like before, we just found a spot to mount the relief guy. We'll get something to mount that so it's not wibble wobbling. Got something on order that should cure that. Shouldn't be too bad. And that's pretty much that. Now we got to get these brakes finished being bled, and we should pretty much be good to fly. So we got these brakes pretty well bled. You can kind of see them. They got like no pressure on them. So when you push it down, you get some good pressure. We move the car backwards, hit the brakes, we're good to go. So the other neat part about this setup is this has a pivot ball system. So if you move this shaft to one direction versus another direction, you will then put more pressure on one side than the other. So this looks like it biases the front more. And that, don't know. This will be something that we get to mess around with some more, because that'll be kind of fun to figure that out. Either way, what if we put like lots of pressure on it? We'll have to monkey around with that sometime in the future. I'll get, they make a adjustment knob that can be bolted onto this shaft that then you can rotate a knob in the cabin of this thing and adjust that. So that'll be kind of neat. We'll have to kind of modify this piece of angle iron to make room for it. But that should be relatively simple, I would think. We should have enough room that the springs shouldn't interfere. And then, I don't know. What else would we have then? Bolt the seat down. Do some electrical wiring. And we're almost there. All right, well that's not too shabby. We got working brakes. Might be a tad bit awkward to get used to this foot pedal here, but man, I don't think it's going to be that bad. If it is, I can monkey around with where this crossbar hits, but all in all, I think this stuff is working out halfway decent. I mean, it's not like we're going to be super comfortable in this thing for like a 3-hour joyride. So we're only going to be like probably hitting the tracks for maybe 20-minute increments. So it's just a fun track day type of vehicle, so we should be good. Anyways, this setup was super simple to bleed. Since our master cylinders are higher than all the hoses down here, all I really had to do was uncork the valves at the disc brake calipers and just kind of let it flow out, close them up, make sure we get some tight operation, check for air bubbles, and we're pretty much set. So it doesn't have any residual valves, so hopefully we won't need them. Disc brakes usually don't need much, but we'll see if we need just a tiny thing. If we have poor operation. But this should be decent enough. We've got functioning brakes. We can shove off here, hit the brakes, bring her up, hit the brakes. So yeah. Either way, that looks pretty fun to me. So, I think we're probably going to leave it here. I'll have to figure out setting up all the rest of this stuff. Still need gas pedal, but I don't know where I'm going to put that. We're getting kind of short in our foot pedal area. Anyways, thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll have more videos coming out here. This one's a little bit quick, mainly because I got sick at the beginning of it. So I kind of did a little bit of work here and there while sick, and we just finish it off when I'm not. So, good enough for me. We'll get this thing started up pretty darn soon, and we can start rolling out with this operation. Lots of different things that we'll have to experiment with, especially like the pedal setup here. Not 100% sure how that's going to work. Still going to bother me for a while. But anyways, thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you again later.